Hello everyone, Amanda here, thanks for joining me. So today I'm wanting to make some tags for my journal. I'm using a digital kit by Ephemera's Vintage Garden, but I want to inject some of my own individuality into the journal. So the best way to do that is by collage, because no two are the same, nobody's going to have the same, and I love the idea of having, not the same as everybody else. So like I said, the best way to do it is collage, and the process is so easy. So I'm starting with a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. Now I'm using this because I've got it dirty. I've used it somewhere as a background for a photo, and I've got ink on it, so I can't make cards out of it, so I'm going to use it, and then when I've collaged, it'll get cut up into tags. So I've got a collection of things, right? So for collage you can use anything. I've got some printed things, I've got some items from the kit, I've got dictionary paper, I've got this is from another printable from my collection, so is this one. I've got bits of napkin, I've got some more fussy cut elements that I'm then going to layer on the top. And then at the side of me here, you could see my desk, I've got a big pile of scraps. So as I'm creating during the week, I end up with a pile of scraps. So I may well try and incorporate some of these, otherwise they'll go in the box of doom. So off we go. It's super simple, really easy, but I am going to fast forward. I'm going to be gluing initially just using a glue stick, and then as I come to add on the napkin and then seal the whole thing, I'm going to use matte medium, because once I've done, I'll seal it all with this, add my napkin layers, let it dry, and then I might do some stenciling. I'm not sure. We'll see. I might do the stenciling after I've cut them up. So off we go. I'll show you my process. Maybe you just enjoy watching. I might do a voiceover. I might see if I can add some music, but we'll see. I'll probably talk. You know me. Alright. We'll be back. Okay, so when I'm doing collage, I have a little bit of a kind of a technique or a formula, and I do things in even numbers to start with. It helps you fill the page so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming, and I always start off with large pieces. So here I'm using just dictionary page so that it will go with anything, and I start with 4. And then I work my way around that with some images, and I just find that works. And then as I fill the space up, then I'll do, odd numbers of things. But to start with, I always go in 4s or 2s. I just find it works, and you can kind of get an even balance of similar images. You don't have to have, because if you had 10 million different images on here, it'd be distracting. You'd get overwhelmed of where to put things. So stick to, just a few different sheets of paper, rip them up and repeat the pattern. So I start with background ones, and then I add in, my digital prints and things like that. Bits, scraps off of your desk. But try to go for larger pieces rather than loads of small ones, because like you say, you'll get overwhelmed. You'll think, oh well, that don't go there and that don't go there. When you're doing larger pieces, it's easier to see where they fit and where they look nice together. I've kept them quite neutral because I'm not quite sure what colour I'm going to go with for my journal. I know the theme, but I'm not sure of what colour yet, and so I'm doing my best not to add colour yet. I can add colour on later with stenciling or stamping, or just even the distress ink that I use around the edges, and the focal images and the seam binding, etc. Will all add colour. So at this stage I can keep it neutral, then I'm not worrying about the colours clashing. Okay, so there we go. That's all more or less done now, and I'm just going to start and add on some focal images that I've fussy cut from the kit to complement the plainer background. So this is where you add on items that are specific to your project. Okay, and I'm only doing a few, just dotting them about here and there. And then after that I'm then going to start and add my napkins. Napkin on. I couldn't put napkin on with the glue stick. I think if you can manage that, then you're a very specialised crafter. So yeah, and as I'm going, then what I'll do, you see, is give all of this a thin coat. I have learned that if you're doing a lot of collage like this, to put it on with glue stick and not use this all over, or else it gets very wet and very mushy. You know, and you soon start and destroy the colours of your paper. So if you start with glue stick and then seal it afterwards with a thin coat of this, so I'll be putting it on very thin to get my napkin down, and then I will go over the whole thing with a very thin layer that will then seal all of that. Then if I want to add sprays, or I want to put gesso on it, or I want to stamp on it, or anything, it won't interfere with this paper because it's only copy paper. If I start spraying it, it's going to go, the colours aren't going to be bright, and it's going to start where the paper looks, you know, it starts to get ruined. So this will protect it, if anybody is wondering why, because I do get asked quite a lot what, you know, what different things do. I'm no expert, I've just learned by doing, by watching other people, by asking questions. You know, I'm not shy to go and message somebody and say, why do you use that? What's my best thing to use? You know, and 9 times out of 10 people don't mind helping. So I'm just going to thin layer. I don't want a big, you know, soggy mess. That's what I want to avoid, because then it spoils the images. I do kind of want a bit of direction on this one. I want this one to be straight, and then some of the others I'll put, you know, sideways or whatever. So the good thing about napkins, and especially like the ones with a white background like this, is that when you put them on, then, you know, it blends in and you can't really see. You can see a bit, but by the time I've sealed it, you won't notice it. And if it gets a bit wrinkly or a bit, you know, ripped, it doesn't bother me. It all adds, it's all adding, as far as I'm concerned, to the look. So I tend not to worry. Okay. So I'm going to actually edit this bit because, you know, I'm just adding bits of napkin, and then I'm going to seal the whole thing. So I'll be back in a minute. So what I'm going to do now, all of my, I've left it to dry. I went away and had a brew and cleaned my house, and I've come back so that it's all fully dry, because I'm quite an impatient crafter, but it needs to be dry so that you can then cut it up nicely. So I'm just going to trim, not really necessary, I suppose you could do this at any point, but just trim that so I can see the edges. Okay. I'm not worried about the back, because what I can always do, if I'm worried about it, I can, when I'm done my tags, line the back with some book page or copy paper or whatever. So we're going to do, because this is a 12 by 12, I'm going to do, what am I going to do? Let me think. 3, 6, 9... Right, so if I do, what it is I want to get the maximum out of this that I can. So I reckon if I go, let me just straighten that so that I can see my, otherwise I'm able to see on my scoreboard. I reckon if I go 3 1/4, what's that? So 3, 6, 9, yeah, 3 1/4. Can you see me counting on my fingers? Take my shoes and socks off in a minute. So if I do 3 1/4 strips, I should get 4. Have I worked that out right? Yeah, I should get 3, 6, 9. Yeah, because if I do another one, then that's 12. So 3 1/4. I'm doing 3 1/4 anyway. I normally do this size tag about 3 1/4 by about 6 1/4. So if I do 3 1/4 by 6, 2, Really, I don't know if I've done that right. I don't think I have. Well, this bit here. If I'd have done it 3, you see, I would have got 4 lots, but then that makes it quite narrow. So this strip here, I can use to line a pocket, a bit like a snippet. I could even cut it in half and then add a bit of lace. In fact, I'm going to do, what does that measure? I'm going to cut that in half. So it's 2 1/4, so 1 1/8. If I cut that, I'm just going to eyeball it. If I was to trim that just about in half, yeah, then I've got 2 little strips here that I can use for, you know, add embellishments on, put them on, rip them up, put them on my pockets, whatever, okay? Because it's useless on its own. And then and then I'm just going to cut these by 6, which is basically in half, isn't it? Yeah, and then I've got 4. Have I? Or have I got 6? I've got 6. I can't count me. I don't know about homeschooling my daughter. I think I need homeschooling. 4. I've ended up with 6. Honestly. You wouldn't think that I was actually educated. It's quite a high level. You'd think I was thick as a plank. Thick as a brick. Right, so I'm going to now just at this point trim off where I've gone over with my, I may well sew around that. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. I just kind of, I like to create and let the creativity unfold, and whatever happens, happens, okay? Alright, so what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do a part 2. So this one has been how to like collage and turn them, and then, you know, turn it into tags. And I'm going to do a part 2 video where I'm going to turn my collaged tags, my collaged sheet there, into some fab tags. And I've got 6, so, you know, from bits and bobs and scraps. So I've used minimal images from the kit, and then the rest has been from a pile of scraps outside of my table, so, and a few things that I printed out. So yeah, I'll come back and do a part 2 and we'll decorate these. Alright, bye for now. The link for part 2 will be the suggested video after, or I will leave a link in the description box below. I'll also leave a link to Ephemera's Vintage Garden on Etsy where these images are from. Bye for now.